never-ending story?
Oh.
No, I've never seen that. That's a book and a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need to see it.
It's really
during the friend vacation,
We almost need to postpone a week, and you need to go watch it right now.
Chester, you can't be surprised. We've had this conversation.
I'm gonna cry because you haven't seen one of the saddest moments in cinematic history.
I was not allowed to watch movies or television except under very strict parameters.
You are old enough to make decisions for yourself now, and that should have been one of the first.
Right, and you know what my decisions now are, and I'm not going to sit in front of a screen.
That movie has emotionally scarred every member of our generation, and you need to watch it.
It really has.
I'm aware of that.
And the actor who injured himself while filming it and has $1 million worth of spinal surgeries accordingly.
Holy shit. But I've seen a lot of those classics from that time too that were emotionally scarring, and I saw them, was just kind of like, eh.
So during the Friends getaway, we're gonna watch.
Yeah, we'll watch it then.
Yeah.
You guys can make the list of things that apparently I need to have seen to exist, which is extensive.
And then I'll make you read the book afterwards.
That's fine. I'm more likely to read the book. You know this. Hand me the book, I'll read it.
I have never read the book.
Is it a children's book or is it like a young adult?
Neither.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's definitely an adult story.
Like, it was made as a kid's movie in theory, but the book is not as kid-friendly.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
I got yelled at a lot, but you good.
Oh, we didn't yell.
Got yelled at.
That was a look of utter disappointment. There was no yelling. My voice was never raised.
A collective groan of disappointment in my lack of culture. That's familiar. All right. So we should be yelling. It's fair. You had consideration.
By the way, Shayna, I have my letter up on the stream right now just so they can
that's
zoom
nice.
in.
The only reason I separated them is because there are little bits of information that some characters know and others do not. Sharing that is completely up to you, but I wanted to personalize it for what you would know living where you've lived and doing what you've done. Which is why I had you do the questionnaires. Okay.
I also just want to make sure.
Yeah.
She would have done what was asked of her at the end of hers, so she didn't blow up when she threw it in, right? Because that would be a horrible way to start the campaign.
No, she would have just taken the whole bundle and thrown it either into the volcano or one of the worshipping fires at the base.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really straightforward, and that's, yeah, you good.
All right.
You would have known what to do. It would be standard practice at your...
Right. No, I was just thinking it'd be funny if it was a trap.
No.
Boom.
It has no impact. It was just for me. Okay.
No, it's totally a cool touch.
Okay. So you have each been hired or perhaps called in by favor by a strange, wealthy old human named Guy, who some of you know personally, and regardless, all of you have at least heard of. He wrote to you individually, the letters addressed to your true names, which for some of you may have been a little alarming or just weird. He asked you to meet him at the River Inn, aptly located on the eastern riverside in the city of Ikra, to discuss the work and your compensation. All you know from the letter is that there's been a sudden outcropping of undead along the main to the north of Ikra, which has been interrupting trade, travelers, basically anything going on in that area. The local guards have increased their patrols and attempted to expand their security, but they just don't have the numbers to escort every single individual and caravan that might attempt to take that path, and they can't clear out the hordes themselves. So the city has agreed to, in essence, give control of the situation to Guy in the hopes that he can hire more experienced adventurers, more worldly ones, to help him clear things out. So, you all agree to it, obviously, by the way. You all go there. So, you've now seen the main map. We will hopefully go to Vikro now. Did that show up? Did it change for everybody?
No, you need to grab the little banner of players and drag us over to the new map.
Okay.
There is a way to separate us out, but I don't even do it because it's weird.
It is perfectly acceptable to be on a choo-choo train at the beginning of a
Oh,
Yeah.
you ruined my joke. I was gonna make the choo-choo. I was gonna make a joke about getting off the train, and then
This is the only time I'll railroad you.
yeah, I
It's
know.
totally fine.
Shayna,
I was just trying to make a joke.
Yeah.
On a zontologist is just a phrase or a title I made up, by the way. Urdu is essentially like a zoologist, but for anything non-humanoid.
Okay.
There wasn't a term for that in the real world, so I did what they do with the Greek and Latin and slapped it together, and there you go.
Yeah, xenologist wouldn't really work, and cryptozoologist doesn't
Yeah,
work either.
exactly. Because cryptozoologist specifies that it is without
secret
evidence,
creature.
non-real creature. Yeah,
And
these
a xenologist would be super racist. So
exactly. So this is just everything non-humanoid. So now you should see the map of Evrico. And now, ooh, I lost my mouse. Where'd it go? It's gone. We're screwed. So yeah.
Check the table.
Huh?
I was wondering if you checked the table.
Ha 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 ha. No, I just got lost somewhere between my monitors. This is the map. Most of you would have probably entered from the western path, but Alaris and Auntie Dreamgaze, you probably would have come from the west, but everything else is up to you guys, and now you're all in the city.
okay, Auntie is going to slowly, well, Alaris, I suppose. I mean, you can do what you want, but I'm going to hobble my way to the inn.
Auntie, we can take our time. We know we got to meet him there. This is one of the cities that possibly there
you
are
go ahead.
some.
I can take care of myself.
There might be some unfortunate children here that you could find out if they will do as your apprentice or not.
I will look for my apprentice. And just let me go to the bar. I will be safe by myself. There might be some hot young men that are needing some experience.
By the way, this is such a transient town that not everyone would know about Auntie Dreamgaze. The locals would know you, but everyone else would not. So this is perfect.
No, she's just hobbling along. She knows exactly where she's going. She would have described the town beforehand. So.
Yep. Alaris gives her a really quick squeeze on the shoulders. It's like, all right, I will meet you at the Riverside Inn. And Alaris will start walking there to actually scout out the inn beforehand, hoping actually to be there before Guy.
Okay.
To hide in a corner and observe him.
Definitely not to be a creepy stalker.
No, not to be a creepy
As
stalker.
soon as Auntie Dreamgaze is out of sight of the crowd of the city, is like as soon as she can, she's gonna take off her hat and she's just gonna book it to the tavern. And then
Okay.
once she gets to the tavern, basically the reverse, put on the hat and then go back into the tavern.
Which means Auntie might actually make it there before Alaris.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say she does. We'll say she's already there. Okay.
I would have to make a roll to determine if I do that.
You can if you want. Go ahead. Do you want to just flat dex? I don't know
Well,
what.
either Dex or Perception. I think he's invisible, so it would be Perception at a disadvantage.
Oh,
I would think.
I'm not invisible. I'm just nearly invisible because I am a being. I'm an shadow monk with insane amounts of stealth. So
Yeah.
I don't even have to try.
All
If
right.
I miss stuff in chat, let me know because I'm sorry. That's not what I thought you were talking
Okay.
about.
I am going to go ahead and get a beverage from the bar, and then I'm going to go attempt to sit down. I'm going to do just a perception check to see if I see him. I probably am going to fail this, and then it would have to be probably something else to determine if I sit on him.
Okay. And before everyone gets to and all that, we'll see what everyone else is doing. You cannot see him. Definitely. Doesn't even need to say shit.
No, I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't even have to try to remediate that.
So what I'll do is, how about we'll see what everyone else is doing, and I'll describe the tavern because it has specific seating, and we'll see. If you,
And what the lighting's like in there.
yeah, and
Yep.
we'll see what his seat was, and go from there.
Yeah,
So
because I would
we're-
be going to a really dark corner to like observe people coming in.
Okay. We will. Okay. How about the other three of you? Are you going straight to the inn, basically, or are you going somewhere else? I tried to label the different quarters for where things would be if you wanted to stop and do other stuff, or you want to head straight there.
I'm going straight there.
All right.
I'm already there. Take a look around. Oh,
My-
I'm not the bard.
My letter doesn't say where to meet him, so where would he normally work?
Did I fuck up your letter? It's the Riverside Inn. It should have been in your letter.
So,
If it's not, you probably would have.
I probably would have gone to wherever he'd work first, because I'm assuming I know who he is.
Yes. So you knowing him and knowing who he is would know that. Ooh, this.
Yeah, mine doesn't say it either, by the way.
I don't think mine does either. I'm just.
You know what I did? I wrote all of your letters and then I cut and pasted them and was fussing around to make them fit. And I probably deleted the paragraph and forgot to add it in. We'll pretend that was in the letter.
You already said
Okay.
that we were all meeting there, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just assumed.
Yeah, so we'll,
It's an
yeah.
understanding.
Sorry, da.
No.
It's all good.
The beers.
So I was gonna say is what you could do is you can make it look like each one of our letter attaches to each other ones, so we have the whole message together when we actually meet together, like you did it on purpose.
Oh, I'm gonna save that for a future idea. I'm not gonna do it with these, but I'm gonna do that for something else. I love
I'm
that.
writing that down.
Guess I'll make my way to the inn. I'm probably gonna start at the back first, check to see if there's any extra food or anything left out,
Okay.
any kind of stuff that might be
There is
used
an
for later.
entrance straight to the kitchen, and I'll show you. I have the map of that. I'll bring that up too.
Yeah, I was gonna go to the back first to see if there's any free things I can pick up first and eventually make my way.
Okay.
Shayna, so this
so-
kind of sucks because I didn't prepare comprehend languages, but I did prepare tongues. So I will go ahead and as soon as I get into like the bar, I'm going to cast tongues. I'm gonna pretend that I don't know what everyone is they're talking about, but I'm gonna cast tongues so I know everything that's going on in the bar.
Okay. So, Wiscava, you were asking, would you go then to the inn, or you?
Yeah, well, as soon as she found out that she's
Yeah.
supposed to meet him at the end, she'd go to the end.
Okay.
Are these bridges, just scale-wise, are they large enough for Florian?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I don't, as a human being, have a really great grasp of scale on maps. So
Okay.
you have to be lenient with me on that.
No, that's okay. I'm just asking, because...
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say from
He would be super fine though. Those are wide enough for 2 carts, one going each direction.
Okay, cool.
I like so this is a very weird statement, but this is a historical art statement. Are these maps to actual like cartography scale from like Renaissance period, or are we talking medieval period maps which were kind of useless because like important structures were always like scaled bigger than everything
That
else?
one.
There's
Yeah,
a building of that shape.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's the latter because I basically just went, this is really like the prime example is on here. I'll just show you like on the main map, the main volcano. Here, oops, there we go. The main volcano is not that big. That's not how big the volcano is. But I wanted to make sure you knew it was a volcano.
No, that actually makes very much
Oh,
sense. Like that's honestly, if you look at any map pre like 15th century, that's how maps were. They were like,
Yeah.
this is an important structure. It made things very difficult to.
I literally didn't know those little, like, even recognize those little things above it were like coming out of it. I just thought those were other mountains until you know. No, that's awesome.
I thought you were just bullying me.
No, I literally skimmed across it when I looked at it and didn't pick out that detail.
Okay.
This was I like your maps. I have
Yeah,
just
no,
said
it's a great map.
Okay. Thanks for
It's
that.
as much
For
to
food, but
scale
I'm always
as you can be.
eating
You
more.
can expect, with also giving all the information you actually need. And we just lost Shayna.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm refilling my drink while she returns to us.
Okay.
FYI, anyone in the bar would actually just kill some time. The Auntie Dream Gaze is at the bar. She
Hello?
has a She has the stereotypical like witch pointed hat. Only the brim is extra wide to kind of keep out the sun. Her skin is much darker than you normally expect. She does have a long pointed nose. She carries a cane, and on the top of the cane are 3 heads: a crow, a snake, and then a like weird multi-eyed, like it looks almost like an ant head is the top of her cane. But it looks
My question about lighting is pertinent because if it's even slightly dim enough to where dark vision might be compensating for anyone, they probably don't see me because I am invisible to dark vision. So unless like natural lighting is good, or like, I don't know what Shannon wants to roll with that one, because it's a built-in class feature from one of my classes where I'm invisible to dark
Am
vision.
I back?
yeah,
Yes,
you're back.
Yeah,
yes,
you're
you
back.
are.
God. Of course. I swear to God. This is
We
what
were just like ignoring you, apparently.
I didn't know. You guys were talking. I didn't want to interrupt.
I
'cause-
just wanted like what to explain what Auntie looked like.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, if you guys want to take a second, explain all of that, feel free.
Well, Scott, I was going to ask, what's your primary colors for your outfit?
It's primarily dark brown. Like it's all organic. Like she has a cloak that's like it looks like it's made out of raven wings, and she kind of covers around herself. Most of her outfit looks to be made out of various animal skins. She's kind of humbled in the thing, and she would have, as soon as she got in, ordered a stiff or tea, and then like a very tall stiff drink.
So, go ahead.
You're fine. It's okay to remember me. I was going to let you know, depending on where you're at, Chester, as I walk in, I have this lantern I carry with me that's really bright and get really bright. So if it goes over you, that's what I'm saying.
Would be
If you
funny
say
if
logo for it.
Alaris was about to sit on me accidentally and I start protesting, and then the light reveals me like I just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, so here, I'll explain the layout, and then you can pick your dark emo corner. So, if you should be able to see the inn now. Half done. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
The River Inn is a long 2-story building stretching down part of the Ua River in the center of Evrico. On the first floor is the tavern itself, where anyone is welcome to come and drink. Doesn't matter if you're staying or not. It's kind of like a restaurant. Upstairs is the collection of bedrooms for rent, as well as a semi-sizable meeting room / event hall. It's not the only inn in Evrico by far, but it's a little more popular just because of the view that it has, due to these large bay windows all along the side that give you an excellent view both up and downstairs of the river. Running the length of the building is a long banquet table lined with bench seating. Those of you who have been here before, which actually would probably be a good majority of you at least, know this is to encourage people to sit near one another and share their time, their food, their stories. With the backdrop of the view, it's to encourage the sightseeing aspect. Everything's made of warm-toned wood and stone. It's comfortable, but it's practical. It needs to be next to a body of water, sustainable. Although it's busy, there are several spaces available along the banquet table, as well as this entire 4-seat and one of these armchairs by the fire, which I didn't get around to doing the lighting for, but I will. The barkeeper is an old Triton woman. She's the owner as well. Dark blue hair pulled back in loose ties, and she's filling mugs and calling orders to the kitchen here. Through the window, which I also didn't finish. But those of you she sees enter, she smiles at and approaches you, and you sit down and takes your order. So it sounds like we're going to start with Arazu showing up first.
Yeah. So what would you describe as the darkest area? Because that's probably where I just happened to appear.
So away from the fireplace, the darkest area would probably either be this seat on the bottom, or I would say in the corner here, because the sun would be passing over you, so the windows wouldn't be getting much light at this point.
So I will probably aim for that one up there at the table.
Okay. We'll say that that's available for
Picture.
your emo's
Boom.
sake.
Yeah. So you're saying up here?
Mhm.
Okay.
See, just to clarify, clarification, that's one really long table, right? It's
One really, really long table and 2 really, really long benches. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get around to decorating it with
No,
cups.
I just want to make sure that was correct. So.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody has
So-
to get close to each other at the end.
It's yeah. I
That's the
kind of
right place.
I unashamedly went luau on it and was like,
No,
everybody
it's
sit
awesome.
together and you eat off each other's plates and you know.
Yeah, Auntie is gonna try to like saddle up so she's right here. Like, I just it's so hard for me to get up.
I mean, it is polite. I'm assuming you're just speaking to someone next to you.
Yeah.
We'll say he's a local fisherman, Triton man, and he just goes, It is more polite for the elderly to get the seats on the end, you know.
Can you hold my cane? Oh, you're a strong one, aren't you?
Sure, I'll hold your cane for you. Make sure that the
You
barkeep
got a
gets you
nice
over.
woman back home.
Yeah, yes.
Good. You should treat her well, Sonny. And then she's gonna sit down.
Okay.
For Alaris, when she walks in, she is not sequestering herself in the very back corner. That would be harder to get out.
Yeah.
So she would be picking this chair down here at the base. So it's not an issue. I'm not going to sit on Arazu, but I don't Arazu, but I also don't see him.
Yes, definitely not. I don't know if the people around. If you want to roll me a stealth check, I don't know if the people around you see you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not being stealthy right now.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw my message about the whole lighting thing, right?
Did I? What message?
I sent you a message.
Oh, my chat's all weird. Wait, what just happened?
Look at that.
You've got a whole bunch of people messaging you on this.
I'm suddenly so popular. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Plus 13.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got
Yeah.
plus 13 to stealth as well, so I'm not surprised by that.
I will say
We're
that
gonna be best friends.
Maybe.
I will say that the people along that seat with you until they get around. Ooh, I keep moving it when I mean not to move it.
You're in the wrong layer.
Yeah, how do I not do that?
Right click the map and send it back to there.
There we go. Okay. So from around this area on, the light gets better, but everyone else on that bench seating near you is needing to use dim lighting or dark vision to see. So the people in that corner have that, but they also probably have not noticed you. If that answers your question. It is significantly lighter by the fire and the doors over here, basically everywhere else, because this is just early evening.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So that's 2 down, and I see DeBears or Dollberries, you would enter from this door over here. This is the kitchen. You would enter from here. You're currently on the stairs, on the landing going upstairs. Yeah, you would be in there, and the chefs would probably know you and willingly give you little scraps, whatever is left over, things sent back. They don't really care.
I suppose I didn't describe my character.
Yeah, go ahead and describe your characters as you want.
Because I realize I don't know what DeBears looks like. So Alaris is a half-elf wood elf. She actually has fairly tan skin. Her hair is a kind of like lavender color, though. She does wear leather armor, and she does have a rapier on her hip and adventuring pack. Well, not adventuring pack, actually a burglar's pack, but you wouldn't know that because it's just looks like a pack.
It's just for our knowledge.
Yeah, and she is curled up on this chair, kind of like watching everyone come in, trying to look out for Guy. From the note, I don't believe she actually knows what Guy looks like, so...
No, you and Auntie Dreamgaze have not met him in person.
Yeah,
Actually, I don't believe Wiskava has either.
I'm sorry, I need to say something. Like, I know that I didn't declare it, but Auntie would have cast aid on herself and Alaris before. Like, I know we're not going to get into combat, but she would have cast aid on. So both of us have +5 to our HP right now.
Okay, you probably would have just done that entering the city or for your travels or whatever. Yeah,
It's
that's
just
fine.
something she does. So
Yeah, no, that's fine. That would be standard.
So yeah, that's kind of what Alaris looks like. So what does the bears look like?
Dalberries, introduce yourself. And you're
Well, the name's Doll Beers. For a friend, it's Da. But for you, it's Mr. Beers. I'm a Pandaren-looking character. I have a panda, and I have this gross apron. Pretty much, my apron seems to always have a layer of food, dirt, blood, guts, whatever it is I can on the actual apron themselves. I pretty much look like a chef. Super dirty, super gross. I pretty much eat anything. You'll find more food in my beard than around me.
probably sounds about right. I do love the illustration with the beard, by the way, because it's flowing in just enough drama. I like it. Because is it just really dirty and stiff, or is there a stiff bleach? Who knows? You're muted.
Yeah, just on that. So also, I have this lantern I always carry with me. Most of the time, it's super bright. You guys will notice I'll never turn it off.
I'm noticing the giant panda man. I'm like, that hurts my eyes, love. Can you? I don't know. Can you? It hurts these old eyes. Sit down. Oh, you're a strong one. Come sit down next to Auntie. Tell me your story.
Mr. Bears, that is. I believe she's speaking to you.
Yeah, that is.
I'm way over there. I thought there were two other people here next to me giving me food. So I'm pretty sure.
There are. Yeah, you're still in the kitchen.
Then never mind. I have not noticed her.
We'll save that for when he eventually leaves.
Yeah.
Alaris, on the other hand, is like her glass is right here. She stops and she is looking at this bear walking in, and is contemplating the possibility of sentient bears right now.
It's correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bears. Completely bipedal, like standing up, walking on two legs, not walking on all four.
I can walk on my hands too if you want.
My passive
walk on all
passive
fours.
perception is high enough to notice Alaris doing that. At which point she was like, "Girl, it ain't polite to stare."
I sip, turn slightly, and it's like keeping an eye on Mr. Bears out of the corner of her eye because we haven't been introduced yet, but has been properly reprimanded. It's like, oh, I was definitely staring. that was very rude.
It's like, oh, shame. Okay. Who would like to enter next?
I will.
Okay.
Okay, so is this the main door right there, right?
The main double doors, yes. They're the two main double doors, and then a door in the kitchen. Exits are also emergency ones upstairs.
Okay. So you all first hear like a slow, low creak from this wall, and then kind of a thud as something big and large just kind of leans up right on the outside wall here. And then the double doors open, dramatic boardroom, both of them. She pushes both of them open, and there is a 7-foot-tall half-orc, full armor, full splint, with the helm on, silver, with a rose vine dark iron face mask, and then a cape flowing behind her, just made out of flowers.
I will chime in and say that any of you who have any kind of nature sense whatsoever know that those are not only just local flowers, but the local flowers, at least a majority of them, are known for representing or being favored by the local god, specifically Mapele.
Okay. May I do a history check to see if I know? Because I am not...
Or religion. Nature, history, or religion. Any
Okay.
of those would work. Yes, Mr. Bruce.
Well, I'm gonna roll first, then I'll find out.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep changing the pronunciation on your name because at this point I love that. It's
Yep.
Mr. Bruce.
Apparently, I am a horrible student, even though I live here.
You're
really
history,
distracted
religion,
by the
what?
sentient bear. You're distracted by the bear. It's
Yeah.
fair.
That is fair.
History, religion, or what?
History, religion, or nature.
Okay.
Jin doesn't get to participate because you're not there yet.
Okay. Apparently, I don't know. But I
You're
will
all-
say, Auntie just does grab the nearest thing, like it's a napkin or a fan, and be like, "Now, ain't she a tall drink of water?"
Yes.
And-
Go ahead.
Okay, and this is a kind of a more industrious town with a lot of like outsiders, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is very much. This town is known. I said the handout is in there, but it's mainly a fishing town that also acts as something of a navy port. They're in control of the throughway of water that bisects Ma'aka and handles a lot of the security just around the island.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure it changes how
Yeah.
she behaves. So yeah, she walks in. She's got her full armor. Her armor is splint mail. It looks old, but nice and substantial, and way too much for this heat. And she doesn't take her helm off. She's got a long sword at her hip. She is got a shield that is also ringed in the same flowers that her cape is made out of, and has a it looks like a snake's face that's like but with like a very grim, like accusative expression.
It's judgy.
A judgy snake face on her shield, and she's just gonna stand in this corner right here and scan and look for her guy.
So, Alaris seeing you is going to go, "You're not Guy, are you?"
And she's, her eyes are yellow. It's hard to even see her face because they're covered with these like iron thorns. But she just kind of squints at you, and then
Auntie is going to look at Wizkava. Like, she doesn't know any of these names except Alaris. It doesn't even know Beer's there. It's like, I do believe we have one more.
One.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
voice.
Yeah, will you all just come sit down and maybe spin some tales for an old lady?
you never let me just like play things out. Fine. And I get up and I go and I sit across from
Now,
Hunt,
come on, Alaris.
shifting down a little bit.
You know that you can't be my apprentice for married reasons, and she's kind of like give a side eye look to Wizkava and a few of the other ones.
okay.
So annoying living or traveling with a diviner. Nothing's a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and she's just gonna point then over into this direction. So we're meeting here.
Yeah, this is where we are meeting. I don't believe Guy has shown up yet, unless he's one of the other patrons. This is Ante Dreamgaze. I am Alaris. We've both been asked to meet Guy as well. The panda in the kitchen, I think, might be one of the members Auntie has foreseen.
Did you say a panda?
Well, he looks.
Oh. I suppose I'll go ask, and I'll walk towards the kitchen, and I will cast Speak with Animals because they just told me it was a panda.
He looks like a
When
panda. to
you,
me.
Mr. Doll, I forget, since you're bearkin and that's homebrew stuff, do you the bears have, you have your own language, right? On top of speaking common, of course, but do you have one? Like a
Well, I think
language? I don't remember.
kind of do, kind of don't because of my character. So I would say yes and no.
Well, for this case, would you say yes, in that when he casts Speak with Animals, that's what allows him to speak with you and you respond in kind, or he casts it unnecessary and you
He's not
respond
a
in kind?
beast, so by rules of D&D.
Unnecessary.
Okay, so Wiskava, you cast that and you speak, and don't respond however he would like to respond. It's in common.
Okay. And that's I guess that's the other thing, because I cast it before I get there, because I was just told it was a panda.
Yeah.
Is bear folk, are they something that are common that I would recognize once I see them?
No, he's weird. You have not. None of you would have seen this particular thing. And Ma'aka's a weird place. Like, none of the rest of you stand out even a little, but he's a little weird. None of the workers here, and in fact, most of them in Evrico, aren't going to respond strangely to him. They're used to him, but to the rest of you who haven't encountered him, he weird.
Okay. So, yeah, she'll walk over here and she'll look at the cook or whoever is hanging out there, kind of give him a little, like, back off glare, but then she'll take her helmet off. And you'll see, while obviously very big, but it might, not, she's definitely still got, like, a feminine face. She's not, like...
There's nothing that says you can't be 7 foot tall,
Yeah.
and gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's nothing against that. That's my favorite.
She's got a long braid that hair hangs down about 2 feet down her back. Her hair is, most of her hair is kind of like a strawberry blonde color, but it's very obvious that's like a dyed color because like the roots and like the top 6 inches are just like a dark green. But she's got, full makeup, and she looks at the panda and she's like, well, aren't you adorable?
The chef and his line cooks, by the way,
Are you going to be
there
eating with
just
us
staying out of
today?
it.
Of course, it's in bear or whatever bear.
Technically,
You know
speak
what?
with
That's
animals is
exactly
like
what it
you
was.
know how to do the motions, so you're like, "Rah, rah."
And that's what the chefs and the line cooks see, and they see this happening, and they just keep doing what they're doing. Anna looks at you guys. Anna's the owner. She looks at you guys and just goes, "All right," and goes back out.
At which point, like, Auntie probably would notice that and, like, rubs her nose and is like, why are the pretty ones always so stupid?
I don't necessarily know if this is on her. I mean, I did say panda because it looked like a panda. If something else is going on, and
Oh,
you're
I
aware
know,
of it,
honey. I know. And I'm just like gonna pat her head in that, like.
well, yeah, I'm in that wheelhouse.
I'll throw that.
Pretty ones are stupid.
So as this is happening, the doors open and in walks Jin. Jin, would you like to describe yourself and what you would do as this clusterfuck begins? I'm so excited.
right.
This is what I knew would happen.
All right, so I come in, and what you see is basically a tall, thin drow. Has like pure white hair pulled back in a ponytail. The sides of his head are shaved. He has these steampunk-looking sunglasses on, and it is a little bit lower light in here, so it's really kind of weird that people would be wearing any kind of like shades or anything. But he has a jet black half plate armor on, the armor actually kind of looks what you would typically see on a drow, like the evil looking drow armor. And the way he stands and the way he moves, you could tell that he would be like a noble, or he stands regally, and he starts looking around the room, and I come in with Guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once you describe what you do,
As soon as Jin like comes in, a glowing green arrow appears in the seat across from me. It's like kind of neon flashing.
enter here.
Yeah.
I
see it.
I forgot to have them nearby as a prop. This is an example of what Jin's glasses are.
And the elvish characters for your name are also glowing with the green arrow indicating your seat across from me.
Yeah.
It's like a really high-tech seating placement. It's just like a sign. It's like a seat here.
Yeah. So I'll come in, and once I see the arrow, I'll make my move and go over there.
He's gonna make a move.
As you begin to move down the table,
Mm-hmm.
Guy enters. So those of you in the kitchen can decide if you have migrated out enough to see him or not. Those of you who do see him enter, though,
Can I get a token drop?
how do I do that?
Well, so Tucker, you should be able to grab your journal character and drag it onto the map.
Yeah. In the
I
bottom.
tried to do that.
Or
It happened.
You're
Or
the
he-
only person that doesn't have a journal character is me, because that was my fuck up for not joining.
Oh, I
here.
got you. Wait.
Oh, that's cool.
And now there's two.
Does that always work?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
extreme.
it does. It
Look,
does.
there's two.
It very much always does. It's just the reason why I tend to do it as DM is a lot of times I have
Pre-staged.
the
Yep.
fog of war on, and you're like, where do I put it? I'm like,
Yep.
Okay.
For the sake of
Side note for those DMing in Roll20 as well, though, if your player inputs a icon when they drag it, it's going to be that icon. If you have
Yeah.
saved an icon to them to use, like this token represents this character, when you drag it over, it will be that icon.
Okay,
Oh.
I did not know that. That is why whenever I drop your guys' icons, it's always the wrong token.
It's
I
fine.
looked into it and I have an answer, so I am sharing it to all of you.
Okay.
I brought in Florian because since Scott doesn't have one, I thought maybe he could use that in the meantime, since I don't know how to get a blank.
Oh, okay, cool.
If that's okay. So this.
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
water
I will drop one in when it comes in,
Okay.
because honestly, the token I have is not indicative until things.
Yeah. For now, you're a water buffalo.
Yeah,
That's you for now.
I is a water buffalo. I'm fine with
So
that.
you guys were here, and now
No,
you're.
that was me. That was me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me.
No.
Yeah, I was over here.
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll take me a second. Sorry.
It's
Oh,
all
But
good.
I would have left as soon as I saw the drow in evil-looking armor
Spent so much
walk
time
through the door.
picturing
We're
everything.
down. We're in the section reserved for edgelords. Thank you.
Words only. Thank you very much.
Right.
So, question: do we see Arazu yet, or Arazu yet, or?
I don't think I can turn that off, so it's all based on lighting.
Jin.
Okay.
Jin sees him now, so there's that. Because you summoned him, so you know.
Yeah. Nope. I'm gonna crawl across the table and head
And Brit is
back
used to this.
here,
Yeah.
and then have a very awkward interaction with Arazu as I almost sit on him.
The yeah, Auntie is going to just kind of like, hey, Laris, just get Ohm down here. I don't like yelling. Ow, back.
So, can I fit on the bench under the table in my armor?
Will the entire
Yes.
bench like?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you trying to squeeze past everyone. You might
If
do
you
that.
sit on this one side, you might shift everybody to that one side.
You're gonna make.
Auntie will actually be like,
I'm
come
not
here,
that heavy,
come
but I'm
here.
big.
I'll make room, honey.
All right, I know. Okay, first of off because I definitely rolled badly and I don't see Arazu. I probably do almost sit on you.
Okay.
I can't
Right before
control
you
my
sit there,
bison token.
A hand probably says, "And stop."
Oh shit! Holy crap!
This
That's
is my-
fucking creepy.
I am creepy.
Terribly sorry. Our other companion, and she kind of shifts a little bit. Really sorry about that. Really, really sorry about that. Our other companion is going to have a little bit of trouble making it down here. Would it be all right if we all go to the other end of the table?
I look at Jin.
Jin will be like, look over to see who you're talking about, and like, all right, okay, and we'll get up and move over this way, I guess.
Oh,
Okay.
never mind,
Well, in that
Shayna.
case,
Because
I'm
they
gonna-
moved towards me, that makes things easier.
So how do I?
I'm going to steal one of these big. Well, not steal,
You'd have
but
to
grab one of these
populate
big
my
chairs.
journal. Don't worry about it right now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, let me know what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay,
I'm not that mobile as it is, so.
fair. Okay,
Oh,
so
aren't
For
you
the
all?
record, I put a picture in there what Arazu does look like because he is a core for anyone who knows Magic the Gathering. Very white-skinned, natural climbers live on cliff faces, basically. Almost elfish looking, but not. He is topless. He's got leather breeches on. He's got a climbing harness, basically, that looks like there's like cables and chains just like draped all over the place. Two big core sky hooks, which are used for basically slinging around rock faces and climbing at accelerated rates. And you probably don't see it because it's sheathed, but he has a very fancy, almost crystalline, oversized dagger of sorts.
But Auntie's now seeing you because like she's kind of been aware that you're there, but not like being able to see you. She'll be like, "Oh, now where were you when I was in my teens? I mean, that was well, lady never tells her age, but
Yeah,
I
Alaris
would
gets-
have taken you when I was." And then she's gonna go back to her food.
just cut that whole string off. Yeah, at this
I
point,
look at Jin and I just say, "Sometimes you miss the Underdark, don't you?"
Anna would have brought you all the food and drink you requested at this point, and also essentially kicked the bears out of the kitchen, at least to get him out of the way. You can go where you wish, but out of the
Yeah, I would have helped with the and bringing the appetizer, but I've been eating it the whole time, and then bring it and like half eat and go, lunch is served. And then I'd sit down next to anybody, and I'd scoot next to them on the
Okay.
bench.
So as you've all settled, Guy enters the tavern. He goes first to Anna and greets her. They speak. You don't hear what they're saying, but she kind of nods her head towards you guys and smiles. Guy takes a moment and scans the inn, checking who all else is there. But let's see. Well, I'm on my description. Even from this distance, he exudes a kind of older aura, something very patient. But he earns very mixed reactions from a lot of the people here. Those of you who are familiar with some of the regular clientele would know those are the locals. So a handful of them watch him kind of skittishly. They mutter to themselves. After a few of them actually get up and leave the inn once they see that he's entered. He's wearing what looks like, really typical scholarly garb. Is the robes, a belt that has some heavy pouches on it, tall staff made of intertwined wood and metal. The stone affixed to the top is glowing a soft light blue. He wears his age very comfortably and moves with ease, unlike poor Auntie Dreamgaze. Those of you who may have been paying attention when he entered will note that his hands are stained with various things that let you know probably works with them, makes things. And for now, he is staying by Anna and watching you. He's probably standing about here. I don't have a token for him yet.
Okay.
Auntie will, with some spryness, actually swing around and kind of like crick her back as she stands up and kind of like walk forward and like. It is a pleasure to meet our patron, and she will actually extend out her hand to touch to shake his hand, and she kind of gives him this look of like don't comment, and then we'll shake his hand.
He raises one eyebrow, kind of sardonically, and very easily shakes your hand and says, "It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Auntie."
It's been a pleasure.
I insight check this to see if I believe this feigned first
Oh
meeting.
yes, the auntie can't possibly
Yeah.
beat that.
No, this is
She
their
is
first
full
meeting.
of shit.
Yeah, this is their first meeting, I promise. You can tell that. You don't know how, but you get the vibe that this is the first time they've met.
Oh, I'm very good at detecting lies.
Depending
know.
upon
No,
like
but they have
his detection, you might notice like something else.
That's up to you if you'd like to share.
Yeah, I would say like the handshake looks weird. Like it's close, but he seems to touch her hand before he actually like his hand flexed before he actually touched her hand.
No.
Gotcha.
Who's rolling a sleight of hand and for what? What's happening?
So that's me, and that's
Why are you
because
stealing shit?
I'm not stealing anything. As Auntie was walking up to him, it's actually me readying a dagger, just in case.
Ah,
It's like it's already starting. People are stealing.
I was like,
I'm
God,
not-
you guys.
I am not stealing anything.
Thought
That
we learned our
sleight
lesson.
of hand is actually Alaris readying a dagger as Auntie is walking
So
up.
hold on, let me
He's
check.
gonna stab the old lady.
Let me
Well, I want to know if I see any of this going down because I'm watching everybody.
before everybody gets super excited,
Yeah.
deep breaths. Hold on, let me
Yep,
check
deep
that.
breath. This is actually why I was specifically
fine.
putting it in the open chat, is because I know
Yeah.
there's other characters that
fine.
might have a high enough perception that
I'm
would
just
see that.
teasing you. So what happens is you do that, and you can do that successfully. The others can roll and determine whether or not they notice. But as Guy shakes Auntie's hands and greets her, he looks over and makes direct eye contact with you, and then just goes back to the handshake and greeting. But he knows, and you know he knows.
I'll probably roll perception just like because that does beat my passive, but
I was gonna say either perception or for you insight because you know Alaris. You know it's something she might do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh
you-
yeah.
So Wiskava looks like the only one who doesn't notice.
Yeah.
Wiskava has an 8 wisdom, so
It's not her strong suit.
not her.
Yeah.
Not
He's
really
looking
her
looking
thing.
at a reflection in a hand mirror.
Yes. So
Russian.
Everyone else except apparently Bears, because he is eating, doesn't even
yeah, I don't
bother.
think Bear cares much about
Yeah.
for what you're doing or your existing. Let's be really honest.
I will say Auntie gives Alaris that mom/grandma look of like I'm not gonna comment on it, but I'm
Don't be
disappointed
like
in you.
Oh yeah, you can totally give me that look. Everyone else recognizes that Alaris is uptight and tense when Auntie goes up and talks to Guy, and is ready to dagger.
That's fine. That is it. But once he finishes greeting you, he will take a few steps to the table and address you all as a whole and say, "You can bring your plates up with you, or if you would like to meet me when you are done, I will be in the event hall upstairs." And he just
You're
walks away.
gonna make an old lady walk up the stairs.
"I'll help you, Auntie." And he puts an arm out for you to hold on to, and he will escort you up the stairs.
She will take it.
Okay. And you guys go upstairs into the meeting room. That's the part of the map I didn't finish yet. Again, sorry. I
That's
don't
all
have the
good.
upstairs done.
What
Easy.
are they serving?
Huh?
What are they serving?
Food. What would you like?
What's the special?
The census is a fishing town. It's gonna be a lot of seafood. There probably aren't a lot of things like beef. Things like pork and chicken. Chicken are a lot easier to raise on islands, so poultry will be very common, as will fish.
And actually, probably pork. 'Cause
Well, it depends upon if somebody was an idiot with pigs yet.
yeah,
Well, wild boars are definitely a thing, so yes.
yeah.
That's already
so-
happened.
I'm trying, since I don't know meat well, we're just basing all of this on what I know in Hawaii.
No,
I found
I'm
a
just
good door
going
in my
with how islands work, and somebody at some point will be an idiot with pigs.
Yeah, and they just
Yep.
brought pigs over, and then all of a sudden we have boars, and they just like the peck. Anyway.
And they just Yeah.
Two other species that are probably prevalent that need to be taken out then are cats and snakes.
Snakes, no, snakes are welcome. Cats, I haven't decided on yet. I was debating putting mongoose in instead, but I didn't know if that would be too on the nose. But because you bring the mongoose to get rid of the rats, which you brought to get rid of this. Anyway, that didn't go well. That's why we don't have Anyway, we won't get into the issue of the endemic species in Hawaii being killed out by.
Oh no, that's why I bring up those two species. Like snakes are less of a problem; they're more of a problem in Guam. But
Yeah, that's true.
cats are a big problem in Hawaii.
They're not a problem. I love cats. Personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so up to you guys if you would like to join, but I'm going to move Auntie because she is upstairs now. We'll pretend that the void up here is the upstairs.
Yeah, I'll take my bait and then go.
Alaris will sheath her
Yeah.
dagger and follow. Well, she won't sheath her dagger. It'll still be like in the.
Yeah. We'll say you have quick access to it. It won't be like a full action to.
Yeah, but I go up.
I will say, as Auntie is being escorted by the by Guy, she will whisper to him, and I'm not gonna do this concealed because there's no reason to. Everyone here is pretty good about not metagaming. She would be like, "Listen, I need an apprentice, orphan, no ties to family, 7 to 12 years old, preferably female, though male works too."
He will chuckle and just make a comment. Actually, I can't decide how he would word it, so maybe he won't. Instead, what he'll say is, I have a feeling you'll find them along the way, but what's up with this, let's call it vintage.
This affectation?
Uh-huh.
Well, certain stereotypes need to be maintained, don't you know? You know, dear.
Fair
We
enough.
all have our roles to play in this world.
Well, unfortunately, the orphans that there's no way to say this nice either. The orphans that I currently have are too old and do not. I know that face, Tucker. The orphans that I have taken in are unfortunately all too old to meet your criteria, but I will keep an eye out as well.
If I find one on the way, that's fine.
I want to explain, but you wouldn't know yet. I think Jin would definitely know. I don't think Dahl would care, and Arazu would know if he was curious, which he may be.
Always curious.
I joke with the creation of Guy as he's kind of like a Batman in that he just adopts orphans and then turns them into badasses that are very specific in their skill set. So that's why I'm like, he just collects orphans. He's like, oh, there's one over there and one over there. Unfortunately, all of the ones he kind of takes them in, not necessarily as adoptive children, but what's the term for it when there was a medieval term for if you had like
A ward.
Thank you. So he has 3 at the moment.
But they're all too old.
They're all way too old. Yeah.
She will, like, I mean, the 12-year-old thing is legitimately just an archaic thing coming from old traditions. If you got any with some inherent arcane talent, I might be able to work with them, but I would have to test them.
You're welcome to speak with Urdu. She would be happy to meet you, but I'm afraid that my boys don't really have anything by way of arcane talent.
Oh, they're all about those swords and horses, aren't they?
Very much so.
This is why I prefer for the girl folk.
You may get along with Urdu, though. Hopefully you will get to meet her today. So I don't know if anyone else wants to... I'm just putting you guys at this table so that you're not in the void, because upstairs it's a table.
Yeah.
So we're just going to put you on that table because it's chairs.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, we lost the kind.
Terry.
Terry!
De Beers.
De Beers! We're just going to pretend
The
he
game
comes with
started.
silently.
Oh.
So
He's still eating, so.
when
There's
when
food on the
everyone-
table, so he'd join.
when everyone goes up, Wiskava is going to. Is there like fruits and stuff on the table too?
Yeah, on all the kind of standard bar snack fare would be dried fruit, preserved and salted like fish and meats, lots of like that kind of jerky,
Mhm.
breads, some cheeses that would actually survive sitting out. So the older, harder stuff. But yeah, there would be specifically dried fruits.
So she's gonna make just a little plate for her. Well, a little plate. It's gonna be a big plate of bread and cheeses.
A whole
for
platter.
herself.
Anna just hands you she sees you stacking up a little plate and hands you a bigger platter that you dump it into and keep loading it up.
But she's also going to grab like a pineapple or something.
You know what? Fuck it. At the centerpiece, every 5 or 6 people, there's just a whole ass pineapple.
Yeah, she just grabbed the whole thing.
There's just a whole ass pineapple there, though.
And she walks out while everyone else is going up the stairs, slices the pineapple and gives it to Florian.
He eats it very happily.
And while she's doing that, she looks around to see if she can see any of those locals who bailed.
Give me a perception check, probably. Unless you have something else you'd like to use.
Nope.
This is his one good roll.
One good roll, yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, I don't have a map showing the street view, but I would say, here, we'll really quick go back to... Okay, this is going to take some getting used to. I'm sorry. Okay, so going back to Evrika really quick. So you are here in the Riverside Inn. We will pretend that you see some of them on the bridge, maybe about halfway right here, crossing over towards the other quarter.
Okay, so I will not run because it would be undignified, but I will Terminator walk.
Just that really fast straight leg walk.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm not in a hurry. I'm cool.
I'm not drawing attention at all.
This is a very natural thing that people do.
That look of conviction.
Robots do not do this at all.
Yeah, you guys all have like 19 stealth. I have 2 with a disadvantage, so...
Yeah, the cape flowing in the wind behind you across the river. Super subtle. They probably wouldn't care to notice you until you spoke to them, though.
Yeah, but I will.
Watching you, but
and yeah, I'm going to get up to him, and I will offer them some cheese because I got a plate of cheese. And
the entire time you're like also waitressing, walking the entire time.
Yeah, walking really straight, but with a bowl of food.
With a bowl of food.
Okay. It'll 2 men, 1 Triton, 1 Vaughn, and they stop and look at you. I mean, I'm assuming you don't say anything. Do you just hold the plate up towards them?
Oh no, I walk right up to the Vaughn.
Okay.
Yeah, helmet in one hand, plate in the other hand. Excuse me. I couldn't help but wonder that you left quite quickly. I'm here for you. Is there something I should know about the zontologist?
The zontologist is Urdu, just so you know. That's not Guy.
That's not Guy.
That's not his title. Urdu is his ward, so that's her title.
Oh, that's her title.
Yeah, he didn't include one. He doesn't have it.
Okay, then about Master Guy.
That works fine. They'll look at you and go. They look at each other really quick, and the Vaughn will look at you and go, you another one of his collections?
Most certainly not.
Then why do you care?
Well, I'm here to help. I just want to make sure that the people that I'm working with are as well. And I saw many people leave, and that's usually not a good sign. Especially for locals like yourself.
He looks hesitant. He looks like he doesn't really want to say anything. He says, you're working for him?
I only work for Meppley, and I'll show him my shield.
They both relax visibly a little bit.
Well, I can't turn around because it's on my back right now, so I'm like...
Okay.
Yeah.
Whichever symbol you'd like to present, it's immediately recognizable to locals.
Full on turn and...
Yeah,
Yeah.
You really are the epitome of subtlety. Personified.
Yeah, and then, with the hair whip will I do it.
Again, they both visibly relax. The Vaughn in particular, he nods and goes, worshipper of Mepele, I suppose we can trust you then. It's not that we don't believe he is good. And he'll stop and look at the Triton, and the Triton nods reluctantly. But the Triton will go, but he's weird. I don't get it. It's weird.
Oh. Well, it's important to accept all.
She just kind of makes a noise like, yeah, true.
But I understand. And thank you. And I hope you got enough to eat before you left. If you'd like some cheese. I'm sorry there's no meat. I'm, well, pretty much a pescatarian and their fish looked quite old.
The dried fish keeps easier here. And the Triton will reach in and pick up a chunk of dried pineapple and chew on that and say thank you. As they turn to continue leaving, the Vaughn will just make one final comment and say, just be careful of the stone. The stone ones are weird. And they'll leave.
Thank you. And then, yeah, she'll go back. So she's a little bit behind everybody else right now.
Okay. Also, yes, I've now decided there's dried squid in the bowls with the dried fish as well. There's little curlicues.
So when Wiskava leaves, like during her interaction, Alaris, before she heads upstairs, actually looks at Arazu, grabs another pineapple, looks at him again and goes, are these hallucinogenic? Because she was acting really weird. And then sets it down and walks upstairs after his answer, whatever his answer is.
By the way, with where you left Florian, which was here in the corner, they did not see you feed it to him because there's no windows here. So they literally just saw you
walk out with a pineapple.
Grab a pineapple and walk the hell out. And Anna's kind of standing there like...
Yeah.
She just stole the centerpiece. What the hell?
Basically.
Yeah. So Alaris asks that if this is of Arazu as she's contemplating a pineapple.
You know what? I'm gonna roll my nature to see if I know anything about pineapples.
Yeah, I rolled a 1d2 to determine whether
Arazu just kind of shrugs his shoulder and says, "I didn't even know it was edible."
Yeah, I set it back down, I shrug, I make sure my dagger is ready, and I walk upstairs after
your dagger.
Yeah.
Need to make sure that dagger is fucking ready. Auntie is doing things again, and I can't necessarily know she's safe.
When is Auntie not doing things, though?
It's all the fucking time! She's always doing something!
Okay.
Joys of being a diviner. Even when I'm not doing things, I'm doing things.
Okay. Is everyone else now proceeding upstairs, or would you like to do other things? Or...
We're upstairs.
Okay. So you're all upstairs.
Wait, Terry.
Yeah, so sorry, I was just going to say, pretty much finish any food that I can. Anything that looks edible, I'm going to be trying it, stuffing in my mouth, putting in my pockets, things like that for later. As I pretty much get to the top of the stairs, I'm going to sneeze. And for those of you guys that look at me, I'll look like a grizzly.
Kind of mood-changing face. The food is all food that you're very familiar with. It's really standard fare around here. They haven't really bothered changing the recipe much. But yeah, it's all just dried, preserved goods that would last a considerable amount of time. When you guys enter the event meeting hall upstairs, it's very similar, especially aesthetically, to the layout downstairs. Large glass windows overlook the river. As all of this has been happening, the sun is not setting, but it is definitely growing into evening. So the colors are a little muted. The sky's getting overcast as if a storm is coming through. In the center of the room is a large wooden table that also has the same type and quantity of food as downstairs for noshing. Guy will go ahead and take a seat at the head of the table, takes out a pipe and begins to pack it and gestures for you all to sit. For Auntie, he would have offered to pull it out for you.
Auntie wouldn't be there. Bassam, a 30-year-old, very dark-skinned, fairly attractive woman, is like her feet up on whatever table it is.
Yeah.
4 large, heavy braids that like are braided to her head, but then wrap around and then come over her shoulder. In a fairly light dress, is like eating kind of roughly, a floppy hat in her hand, just like, took you fuckers long enough.
There was a pineapple discussion that needed to be happened.
Alaris, really?
Guy will raise an eyebrow and go, pineapple?
Are they or are they not hallucinogenic?
Arizu actually like looks around the room, does a quick count, comes back to the new Auntie Dreamgaze face, does one of these, looks back behind him.
Arizu, it's me. Just go with it.
Huh.
Guy looks at the pineapple Alaris is holding up and offers his hand for you to hand it to him.
Aww.
If you do, well, he wants to look at it. You asked if it's hallucinogenic. He's like, I would just like to look at it. Do you not want to know? So he will take it. Pineapple. Looking at it, he will sniff it, hand it back, and go, no.
There would be like a feathered cloak at the table, and like obviously this woman is
The same stuff that Auntie had.
but like it's just shed because she has no.
Fuck it.
Yeah. Piercings, like she just doesn't.
Okay.
As native as humanly possible is what she's wearing right now.
No. Okay. So would you guys like to all sit at the table, or who's going to be the edgelord and remain standing?
Well, fuck.
Kava.
The Y is an I. Right? Wizkava?
Yeah, Wizkava.
Wizkava is the last one to join us, I think.
Yeah.
So Alaris does sit down, and she does still have the pineapple.
Oh wait, okay, sorry. Not Wiz though. Whis. So it's Whis.
The Y is
Oh,
an
yeah.
I, the Z is an S.
Yeah, Wizkava.
Wizkava.
I will.
Not Wizcoffer. What? Where'd you get the F? This is why we do this in the beginning, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wizkava.
It's a silent F. It's hiding on either side of the V, and then the V itself is silent.
Yeah, I'm still sitting there with a pineapple, kind of looking contemplative.
Guy doesn't have any other answers for you about that pineapple. Sorry, it's just a pineapple. It's like, would you like me to assure you of its safety?
No, just really confused about something I saw earlier.
At which
People
point,
just drink things with pineapples, and he'll start lighting
Bassam will
pipe.
take out her dagger, stab the a piece of pineapple, pop it in her mouth, man. Come on, sister. It's just a pineapple.
Wait, you just stick like the rind of the pineapple?
No,
What is that,
like
an
just a
apple?
piece. Like she just.
What is a
Like a whole
pineapple?
apple?
Well, no, actually, because it's funnier. Yeah, she eats the rind, starts chewing it, and then like makes that like weird face that you just
Yeah.
ate something gross. But
Yeah, and when you speak, there's blood on your teeth.
but like
Yeah.
she's like
The
still
pineapple
That
swallows
was
it
absolutely
down
fucking
because she's
happened.
hard.
Pineapple.
Yeah. she's
Yeah.
like-
You proved a point. I don't know if it's the point you wanted to prove, but you proved it.
You know, you had mentioned things of the apple of pine before, but I never thought it would look like this. It looks like a little
That's not what I
berry
meant.
with like leaves on
That is
top.
legitimately not what I meant. That is a. Just eat your fruit.
Guy from his spot where he's lighting his pipe goes, well, technically that is a fruit.
No, it is a fruit, but
Oh, is that what you were mentioning? I thought you were referring to the dried fruit on the table.
no, I just
Oh, okay.
I wanted like she's complaining about the pineapple because I once mentioned an apple pie 'cause she was kind of drunk and she was like wanting her fortune told.
Ah, you're terrible when you're drunk. You know that.
I'm drunk a lot, honestly.
So they're bickering. What does Wiskava do? Are you rejoining the group?
Yeah, she's gonna rejoin the group as soon as she
Okay.
can. So,
Yeah.
however
you get up
long you
there-
think it takes.
You get
Not
up there,
long,
we're
but
probably
fairly
still
short.
arguing about apple of pine.
Yeah, they're probably bickering. I don't know what. I know the birds will be eating. I don't know if Arazu and Jin would be catching up or not talking and sitting in their emo corner. I don't know
I'm just watching this whole debacle,
just enjoying the show.
chaos between these two strange characters unfold, because I also didn't know what a pineapple was according to my nature rules. But is definitely like there's a lot of questions going on in Arazu's mind. So she's just observing.
You edgelord, like looks to Arazu. You edgelord, you know what a pineapple is, don't you?
And Arazu looks at Jin. I think she's talking to you.
But I'll be like, I believe she's looking at you, though.
I know, which is why.
Excuse me, I apologize that I'm late, but are we missing the elderly woman as well?
This
That woman is the elderly woman.
Auntie.
Yes.
Just don't ask questions.
You can call me Bassam when I'm in this form, please. Appearances must be maintained. You understand, right?
Oh, I definitely understand.
You whip it.
The same like look that Auntie had flashes over Bassam's face. Is like, seriously, why do they have to be so dumb?
What kills me is the braid that you.
I do have ears.
They're just hidden behind her.
I wish you would use them.
Ooh.
Alaris just like sighs deeply and then grabs her wine or beer stein, whatever she actually had ordered.
Whatever you got.
And just sighs deeply and takes a drink.
I dropped charisma, by the way. It was one
What? No.
So, Guy, can you get on with it?
Yes, if you would like to have a seat.
Sure. I would love to.
I'm just.
No, she will take a seat as far from anti-dream gaze as she can.
I think Auntie took the seat to the corner next to Guy. I don't know where you sat.
And this, like, honestly, she's
So
just
this
gonna put
is
it
the
anywhere
table-
that she has, like, she can put her feet up and, like,
Well, that would be anywhere. So this is the table. We'll pretend that this window behind is the head of the table where Guy's sitting, and then it just goes. So
okay,
wherever we
so
are.
Auntie would try to put her back as much to a wall as possible,
Okay.
just
We'll
so
say
that
it-
she could observe everybody.
Unfortunately, the armchairs are downstairs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
All right, then.
you know what? Screw it. There's some in the room now.
Yeah.
You're in the armchair.
Oh, if there's
alright.
armchairs, Auntie is definitely an
Okay,
armchair,
right
like
there.
taking up the
You guys
entire
sitting
thing,
here.
eating a pineapple as messily as possible right now.
Putting you all in a line.
Well,
so
at
you
least
decide
it's
where you
not
wanna
a
go.
mango.
Yeah.
Guy is sitting here then. So you're sitting right next to him, doll?
I'll be right back.
Dobbers?
Yeah, I'm gonna be moving around the table with food.
I will be standing on whichever side of Jin is not his weapon, his predominant weapon using hand.
Yours or Jin's?
Oh, it doesn't matter for Arazu. I'm ensuring that whichever hand is not Jin's predominant weapon hand, that's the side I'm standing on. That way, if he needs to draw his weapon,
Right, that's what I meant.
the
That's what
impediment.
I meant. The tense in your sentence. So Jin, now you have to pick a seat. Because that will determine where.
Yeah, and
Right.
then also if you're right-handed or left-handed.
Or ambidextrous, in which case.
It doesn't matter for any of us.
I'm right-handed. I could use it in with both, but I always use my sword on with my right hand, and I'm just going
Your
to
right's your favorite hand for sword work.
yeah.
He doesn't open up with his left like some people.
And Guy's over here, right?
Yeah, that seat there.
All right, I'll sit as. Is there technically seats on this side of the table?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll sit right here.
Oh,
Since I know him,
yeah, you know him. You're familiar.
So that means that I have to be on the side of your weapon.
well, I'll just sit right here. If I know what you're doing, then I'll sit.
Okay.
Right
Just on top of each other. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sitting in his lap. They're buddies.
That's
Special
cute.
buddies.
We're not that kind of friends.
Yes.
We
So
bonded a lot in the Underdark, but not like that.
is it kind of overt what you're doing or not?
Me?
what you guys are doing, where you're actually being towards his offhand to.
Arizu is probably everywhere we've moved. He's probably stayed there and a little bit behind. Like, so he's already walking with a noble air. So it's probably almost like Arizu is feeding into that mentality of him being a noble, and me being his man at arms.
Subservient.
Okay, so I did
happening.
roll an insight check. Then it was a 14. I don't know what that would mean to me figuring out their relationship, which is what it was.
He's not taking. Correct me if I'm wrong, Arizu, but you're not taking any pains to hide it.
No, I'm just like basically always like almost like a bodyguard mentality.
Yeah. So you can definitely tell that. You can see that there is at least by posture, by body language, a subservient relationship between Arzu and Jin. That there is a difference, at least in physical placement. I don't know if y'all talked in front of everyone yet, but there's at least that. And there was the big glowing arrow of the
Well, honestly, the physical placement I think would be enough, because the physical placement of Alaris and her response to Auntie going off was pretty indicative, I think.
It'd be familiar.
Yeah.
But maybe with a little more formality. We'll put it that way.
Twinsies.
Auntie, you would have noticed the same thing. It would be very clear to you that was what that relationship was.
So, what do you want?
Well, I'm hoping you were able to read my letter, even if you were in your other form. You all know that we've had a scourge of sudden attacks by undead along the northern road towards Malika. It's becoming a concern. At first, it was only a couple. It's been steadily growing, both in quantity and frequency, and the guards can't be used to clear that up. They're busy patrolling. So we would like you to take care of that.
Well, you already know my price.
It'll be handled.
When you say we, I thought this was the table for you.
Just reference for the price. There is going to be a potential for screening, correct?
Potential for screening? Out of character, what do you mean?
Honestly, Dreamgaze would not. Alaris would be aware of Dreamgaze's price, but like I feel like Dreamgaze is like, Alaris, set your own price. Mine has already been negotiated.
Oh, fine. Well,
no need to negotiate on her behalf. We handled it on the walk upstairs.
Very well. So this particular mission, kind of undead based.
Mm-hmm.
I need more information regarding some of the more interesting monsters in our area. And that is going to be my price.
I believe you are already, shall we say, pen pals with Urdu. If information is your price, when I leave tonight, you are welcome to come with me to the estate and meet her and discuss that further. And you have basically been pen pals. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally get to meet her.
You probably wrote to her at some point for reference on some obscure creature, some writing or something, and it just developed from there.
Yep.
She's a name that any of you with any kind of interest in nature, creatures, mythology, any of that, you would know the name. Okay.
So quick one here for Alaris. Is it more about the knowledge or the experience that she's like? Is she looking for intellectual knowledge, or she wants to know about these monsters because?
What's the difference, really?
Does she want to go and experience encountering these things, or does she have an academic desire to know about them?
So both. She really wants to encounter them out in the field and observe them because they haven't been properly observed, in her opinion.
See, that's important to my character to talk about later.
Yeah. She is very passionate about actually providing the information back to Urzu, though, and having it in the library for other people to peruse. So she wants to know what's already available, so when she goes out in the field, she can expand on it. Like, that is... Sorry, Urdu.
It's okay. No, you're fine. That was more because I saw the look on his face.
Yeah.
Not a
Urdu.
different character, same one.
Yes.
I get it.
So she is very passionate about getting out in the field and observing these creatures and making the notes for Urdu. But she wants to know what baseline she has, and she needs to know more about them from the get-go.
Knowing academically will help with the field encounter.
Oh, we're gonna take that high def later. Don't you worry.
That conversation might actually draw Jin's attention. I don't know for sure.
What would grab my attention?
Urdu,
Urdu?
specifically creatures.
Yeah, and how many people actually know Urdu besides me?
In person,
In person.
only you would have met her. I don't think De Beers would have. I think his stay was brief, and Arazu, that would have been up to you. But I don't think you would have either.
Probably not unless she was looking to procure my services.
No, certainly not. So it would just have been you.
Hmm. Yay. Yeah, and the PS on my note was from her, right? Because
Yes,
it didn't have a name.
I tried to make that clear. When you take a dictation like that, and there's a note at the end that's outside of the dictation that the individual took and is instead their own thoughts, that's her PS.
Okay.
No one else got. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. I won't say anything, but I'll just
Listen.
look up when they start talking about Urdu.
Okay.
So, Eric's question for Guy was this was supposed to be a favor for him, but he actually referred to we are looking to have this done. So I am inquiring as to who we comprises, as I thought we were doing this as a favor to you specifically.
It is to me, but I've been put in charge of the situation. The we is the royal we, the we regarding all of Evricro.
Dreamgaze, despite looking at her bare feet that probably are actually jeweled at this point because just the form she's in, but we'll go ahead and insight, and we'll go ahead and use her 19. So that's a 38 insight on that. She's pretending to not be paying attention, but she's very much paying attention.
Oh yeah, of course. What are you specifically looking for?
I am looking for is he holding back on the we thing? He's pretending it's a personal interest and kind of using the royal we, but Dreamgaze is trying to figure out if there's more than him and what she can leverage in that.
You definitely get a sense that what he's saying is true. He is being transparent, but he's being transparent in that way of, this is what you need to know now. I'll share with you later, but you're not, there is definitely something else there. It does not seem, with that role, it does not seem malicious. It doesn't seem necessarily like it's to be manipulative, but he is definitely withholding some information.
Okay, she's just gonna idly messing with the bangles on her bare feet, like ding ding ding. You shouldn't lie when a witch is in or you shouldn't hold back information when a witch doctor is in presence. There are some weird diseases out in the jungle, and I would hate to see your luck change as you venture around this mysterious island.
He takes another puff on his pipe, blows out the smoke, looks at you and goes, yeah, but you wouldn't. What you need to know is that every crow has put me in charge of this. And what you also need to know is that the witches on Witch's Isle are interested because the undead are uncommon. This is strange. If you were in tune with the forests, as you seem to claim you are, you would know this. And he takes another drag. You get the sense that you won't be able to bandy words with him. He's been here a lot longer even than you. He was an established name when you were born, before you got here. I know you were born here, but in the area.
After she says that? After he finishes that,
Mhm.
Wiskava just very quickly looks over at Ante Dreamgaze and smiles, and then just goes back to what she's doing.
So yes,
Again,
I-
Dreamgaze doesn't even act, like Bassam doesn't even really interact. She just kind of like flicks at her bangle and like
Yeah.
listens to the the jangling, and then goes back to like pretending to not be paying attention.
Guy is also responding to you like that teacher who knows when a child's trying too hard and is kind of trying to not necessarily be patronizing, but be like, "That's cute."
Oh
and
yeah,
focusing on the lesson, like that's the vibe.
yeah, and like Dreamgaze is definitely being like,
She gets it.
yeah, like.
Yeah.
This is a competition between two people that are trying to be like not insulted by each other. Like it's
like two cats
It-
that are sharing
is-
territory and are pretending to ignore each other.
I will clarify. Being that old and knowing what you would know, this is Guy's territory. He is the most powerful person in the center of Ma'aka.
There's no
Far powerful,
Oh, yeah.
politically, arcane, financially, all of it. So
Dream-
he is the most powerful individual.
Dreamgaze is terrified, but that's not like that won't get her anywhere. She needs.
of course not. Her personality won't allow that. I'm just letting you know
Yeah.
as a player.
Yeah.
And everyone else, since not everybody's stuff had the same information. But anyway,
At which point she will actually like start contemplating the hat again and like looking at it, and then like.
someone put that back on.
Yeah.
All right, so Guy will
Eric
clarify.
looks at Guy then and says, "I presume that Jin will be in charge of this expedition then." Like totally straight face, like that's 100% what he expects.
He will look at Jin and go, "I was hoping either you would or Wiskava. I may not know you personally, but your reputation and dedication to Mapele encourages that position for you. Should Jin decide he doesn't want it."
I would actually recommend Wiskava. There seems to be at least a couple of people or a couple of groups that have alliances. Wiskava seems to be outside of us. I think she might be a better choice.
What it seems is you have asked me to work with mercenaries. And I
I
understand
would like to just cut you off right there. Not really my thing.
well, then perhaps you and I will get along.
I don't really view myself as a mercenary. I'm trying to study the monsters in the area.
Oh, Guy will speak to Wiskava and say, just because someone is paid for their services does not make them a mercenary. Several of you among this number are what I would consider to be scholars.
Either way, I will do this for the island. I will do this for Mepele.
I thank you.
And I just ask, not as a payment, but I just ask that you remember when you needed my help, I provided it.
I won't forget.
As far as leading, and she'll turn to everybody else, if you need a leader, I will lead. But I will not follow. I have one master, and she is greater than all of you.
I will not ask you to do anything that would be against Mapele's wishes.
At which point,
Well, she wasn't saying that to Guy. She was saying that to
Oh yeah, I know.
North
Guy
Plated
just-
Jen.
Would we recognize who that master is? Do we need to roll for
Yes. No, it's all cool.
it's in our journals actually.
Yes, it is. All in the journals, all those handouts. Mapele is, I can read it if you wish, but to summarize, Mapele is the one of the main and founding gods of the Ma'aka Patreon, or sorry.
I am highlighting it for anyone that might be watching our stream, but yeah,
Oh, thank
I
you.
got it.
Basically, they are typically referred to as he, but it is all the deities in the Akan religion are considered genderless or gender fluid. It does not matter. All gods are so powerful that the name and the way in which you refer to them is ultimately irrelevant. What matters is your actions and how you worship them. Mapele is lava, is brightness, is music, is life. That is Mapele.
Right. So would there be a relationship of any sort between
Mapele and the Lost?
yes, that's what I'm like, what kind of interaction would there be with our faiths if that I should be cognizant of?
Yeah, or the Raven Queen.
At this point, actually, like, I can do a sleight of hand, but anyone that wants to, like, because she's not hiding it.
Yeah.
Auntie is going to go ahead and put the hat back on, change into, like, her old form. She's still not wearing really any clothes. Like, when I said native, like, she's not wearing a top. So, like, it is...
That makes two of us. What?
Yeah, like, it's not... but she will walk up and, like... like, yes, Pele is very powerful. But Paimana will always triumph. For knowledge is greater than light. And she taps Wiskaba on this, but they are, as of right now, allies. And I hope that we can follow their example. And she throws on her cloak.
So while you're tapping her on the shoulder, she's going to try to grapple your arm.
I'm not going to resist.
Super quick, real quick. Who are you talking about? Sorry. What name did you say?
Poimana, a.k.a. The Lost.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. I'm an ass and completely forgot that I named the Sorry. Continue. Grappling.
Yep.
When that happens, like, Arazu doesn't interrupt, but he kind of gives Auntie Dreamgaze another look, but he reaches down to his belt where all the climbing gear is, like, hanging off, and he pulls out the equivalent of a very long rosary with the holy symbol of the Lost and kind of just sets that which on the table while
would be a clockwise spiral.
Yeah, so that's on the table for observation while Auntie Dreamgaze is going on about the Lost.
Yeah. Any of you, all of you, would know the basic pantheon. The gods that are listed are the first four. So Panalu, Mapele, Nihanu, and Tihanu are all ones you would know. Those are like the four main ones. Poimana, or the Lost, which is Chester's. Roll me for it if you want to know. Wiskava, you know all of this.
Yeah.
And Kusi would be, or Kusuth would be another one. Roll for it. But they are essentially, Poimana fits in kind of like a half god, if you want to look at it from the Greco-Roman structure. Not that it's half mortal and half god, but just in terms of if you were to place them in a tree, Poimana would fall under where Mapele is in terms of, if you worship this, you probably also care about that, and they get along. They aren't counter to each other. They belong to the same ideas.
I was just going with the idea that I know what the fates are, and Poimana seems the most in relation to the fates.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
What?
That'd be tied in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so...
You're good. I'm definitely not countering you. That was perfect. Just adding.
So when Wiskava, like, attempts to grapple, Alaris
he just tries to grab her arm.
Yeah, she just does a really deep sigh and goes, she's not trying to attack you. I'm pretty sure she's trying to do a philosophical conversation. If anything, I think at least the two of us are agreed that you are the better entity to lead this party. At least you don't have accessory...
Okay. I need Scotty to roll his thing.
No, Dreamgaze isn't fighting
Because this is going to be really fast. This is not like...
So you're...
I'm saying this, but...
No, Dreamgaze isn't fighting it. Dreamgaze, like, I don't... Like like honestly, you could like be strangling her. Dream Gaze will just be looking at you straight in the eyes, like she just goes limp. She's just
Okay, so in that case, yeah, she grabs your arm, she turns, she squeezes, and she just growls deeply in an orcish, "Don't touch me, witch." And then she lets go. She says, I'm sorry, that was unbecoming of me. And then, like, sheepishly goes back to what she's doing.
Look,
and
if touch is a problem, we just need to know that. Like, if being touched on the shoulder is a problem, we just need to know that.
and Dream Gaze will like, I will refrain from touching you again. I am sorry. Although, let me be clear.
It's not you. It's me.
No.
It's me.
I want to be
My blood
clear.
is a little bit up. It should not be this way. I will ask Mepele for forgiveness.
And I understand that, but the Lost allows me to guard the gates to. I'm sorry, Shayna. Does the culture have a specific name for the afterlife?
I haven't really decided on it. We can just call it the afterlife.
I was just say the afterlife, and I want to know: does this if I can save you from it? Will this taboo you have put upon me prevent me from saving you from completing your destiny?
No. And she gets up and she walks out the door and slams it.
Okay, so from now on, I will
immediately turns back to Guy and says, "Well, I reposture that perhaps it should stand that Jin is leading this party."
Guy will.
no. At which point, Auntie was like, "No, Alaris chose correctly. The fates determine that she will lead us, and then she will walk down." And motioning to Wiskava.
Alaire says, unless there is other input, Wiskava is going to be our leader. Despite
I was just gonna. While all of this is silently, Guy, Jin, I'm looking at you. So he's just smoking his pipe, watching all of this, and looks at me with a very specific look on his face.
Although I will say, Auntie gives Alaris a very much like kind of mischievous look that Alaris would definitely know, and I feel like she's not hiding it. Anyone with any kind of insight would be like, dude, like she has a spring in her step, even though she's in an old woman form. Like,
yeah.
So, Chris, out of character, you don't have to if you do not want to.
Well,
I'm putting it there as an option because you're the one that
will be like sitting there, and if Guy's looking at him,
eye contact.
Yeah, and just looking at the party, he will be like, it looks really like Jin really doesn't want to leave.
No. I got that vibe by your.
But it's like he's probably the most capable of doing it.
Exactly. You're the only one with experience.
With Erzu always getting him into these positions.
He's voluntelling you.
I'm actually helping you experience new things in life.
He just wants you to grow.
I do.
You know?
As your spiritual advisor, I'm helping you to grow as a person.
God, is that
and experience.
And so he'll be like, he'll look at Guy, he'll be like, fine. Like, I'll do it. And he'll get up and he'll be like, I gotta go find the other people.
Yeah, Jin, you do, because we need to establish whether it's you or Wiskava. And
from his seat, Guy will say, Jin, I did not. The tales of Wiskava's temperament were not quite so detailed. And correct me if I'm wrong, Wiskava, but you would likely have wandered to a shrine or a place of worship.
No, she just went downstairs.
Okay. Then I'll tell Jin she's probably just downstairs if you would like to get her. But
yeah, and as he's going down there, he'll look and he'll remember that she grabbed a pineapple, and he'll grab a pineapple and take it down there because it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
As a peace offering.
Alaris will actually back you up. She will follow behind you after you grab the pineapple and go, the party of Jin. No, not Jin, sorry, Guy. Or undead? Fighting the undead? Fuck. She's gonna go, the party that is going to be fighting the undead.
Yes.
Could we please circle around and let Wiskava and Jin have a conversation while none of us speak? Let them speak.
Can I request that when you say that, you make direct eye contact with Auntie Gay?
I
Auntie
do.
Dream Gaze, I will say, will be like,
Auntie-
because she's in old woman form, will be like, the best looking bartender or the one with the cutest butt. She is like, just like tipping. Like,
Honestly, the owner is pretty choice, so you'd probably
yeah,
be
like she is hitting on pretty ridiculous.
so
Yeah. So
give-
Alaris's intent is to have Wiskava and Jin have a conversation to determine who's going to lead.
Okay. We can-
And if Arazu and Arazu and Alaris need to like step out like completely, if like they tell us to, then she's going to try to make that happen to give them a chance to talk.
where is Wiskava at exactly?
Just for the sheer sense of giggles, because I feel like Auntie, considering her abilities, would actually like clap Jin on the back and be like, "Good luck, Sonny," and will cast Enhanced Ability Eagle's Splendor on Jin, so you have advantages on charisma saves for the next hour.
And I
Oh,
just
so
gave guidance.
No, charisma checks,
Yeah,
not saves.
charisma checks.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I just
So-
gave Jin guidance by offering him Blessing of the Lost.
Yeah, to expedite everything, we'll say you all come back upstairs, and everyone is. We give Auntie her iPad and put her in the corner. Okay, here's your iPad. Facebook's on there, so that Jin and Wiska. I'm sorry, I'm really seeing you as like my old neighbor Auntie who just like mind your business.
No,
Well,
like that's what I'm going for.
It's
I
working
had
perfectly.
2 ideas for characters. This is out of character.
Yeah.
Old lady, punk rock, like teenager, and I was like, how can I make both of them at the same time? And I figured it out.
Yeah. And you're not the only one with several personalities, apparently. So we will have Jin and Wiskava begin to speak, and everyone else.
Where is Wiskava at?
Wiskava is downstairs.
Uh-huh.
She has decided the perfect solution. There's wine downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
She just went downstairs. She is got a bottle. If you come down, she'll look at you. She'll pour you a bottle. She'll
A
pour
bottle?
you not a bottle. She won't pour you a bottle. Actually, you know what? She will. She'll grab another bottle, bite the cork out, spit it, and hand you a bottle.
Anna's keeping notes on y'all's tabs, by the way, because Bear, you have pocketed a lot of food that you will have to pay for. And Wiskava, you're now at least 2 bottles of wine in.
Yep.
So yeah,
What it's gonna take?
I'll sit down there with my bottle next to where she is, and I'll be like, it's like some party, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
It's all good. We're
Like,
gonna
well,
go
they-
kill some undead. It's going to be great.
it's like, well, they think that one of the 2 of us should be leader. I really
I
don't.
think it should
care.
be you.
Oh wow, thank you.
I mean, I'm not gonna follow you, but if I have to be,
And he'll be like, he's like, I don't need somebody.
I
to
am
follow
going
me.
to
I
condemn
already have
myself
that.
to the worst hells if I have to be in proximity of that woman.
He's like, I just need somebody that can work with me. That he's like, because he's like, I have so few friends. I would rather have a friend. And he'll be like, he'll like show you his hand and be like,
You know what? I like friends. If you're drinking with me, You're my friend.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I will drink to that.
By the way, you could not get more local with that conversation. Oh, we're drinking together? Hey, bruh, we're friends now. That was...
Yes, I've made the right decision.
All right. Do you finish the bottles before you return upstairs, or do you each bring
Oh
your
man,
bottle?
what kind of bottles are these?
It's not really strong stuff. It's
Yeah.
just fine.
It's a
It's
large
pretty
bottle for a
She just needed to get her breath. It's not like she needs to finish the bottle.
Finish
But
a bottle of wine and be so.
she needed about 10 minutes to calm down.
Yeah.
I
before
gave
she
the
could
pineapple
leave her
to
room
you
with-
as well. I'm like, here.
The pineapple's the official peace offering in this group.
Apparently.
And she looks at you confused, but she
He's
takes it because you
Well,
offered
he's
her
like,
pineapple.
you like pineapples. You took one earlier.
Wait, we have a fake psychic and pineapples. We're playing psych, aren't we? We are playing psych.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay, so we'll pretend you guys have rejoined upstairs. Essentially, unless anyone has anything really specific they want to hammer out about their payment, we can skip to the end of this conversation and Guy can continue. Or does someone have anything else they want to?
Oh no,
Ask-
we just
ask
need
they-
to know how much we need to pay.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm
We
not
just
gonna
need to
nitpick
know where
about
we're
that
going, honestly. Like that's.
Yeah, so here, let me pull the map back up and I'll indicate, well, is there a way to move, if I just move the player banner, does it automatically port everyone
Yes.
to that?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm.
What I mean is, will it also shift your view? Because I've been manually shifting my view and then the player.
No, we all have to zoom out. It's a
Oh, okay. Boom. So, I can draw, that's right. Hell yeah. Oh, I want purple. I want purple. Okay. Why? Who are you laughing at?
You just remembered you could draw? You guys have been drawing on my maps all freaking game.
That's because it's hilarious, and that's when I have more free time. I have to pay attention to everyone talking. And stuff.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
you're here, and you are on this side of the river.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So the path, and I have a closer map later. The path that's being bothered goes this way. So it technically goes northwest a lot more before then it goes back north. It eventually goes north, which is why it is called the northern path. It is the only one that goes up to Maleka, but at first it goes through a bit of forest, not the very dense bit on either side, but it does go through some woods first. By the way, your burrow would have been here, Alaris.
Okay.
Is that Scott or is that who's
Yeah,
purple?
that's me.
Who's purple? I'm allowing it because it's a skull, but what's with the nose? What kind of elephant bullshit?
I don't know. I don't know who put
Those
the
are some
pupils in
really
the eyeballs,
enormous-
honestly.
Those are enormous, but also ineffective nasal passages because they're separate. Less gets in. They need to be joined. It's one.
Because I forgot to put teeth in there. I don't have my pen on me right now.
It's called a deviated septum, okay?
Yeah, leave me alone. Just because he's a cocaine addict.
You started so much coke, his nose broke. Okay. Anyway, this is the path. That's
Yep.
the path that he is requesting. The attacks would have been taking place in the woods right there before it hits the river, or
So it's
to the
actually
other
pretty
side.
close to my people, my
It
family.
is very close to your people. It started out the attacks closer. Sorry, they were closer to the other side of the river and have slowly been moving their way across. When they hit
Technically,
the
I'm
woods is
way
when
over
I
here.
sent the letters to you guys.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say, Auntie?
So I would have been, because I'm pretty separated from most people.
Yeah, you would probably have been in that little. Well, it's ruins now, but that used to be a town.
Yeah, urban peninsula. Like,
Yeah, you'd be living there.
yeah.
Okay.
So, where would one go if they wanted to talk to the druids outside of town?
The druids are past the burrows, but down here closer to the woods, or sorry, closer to the mountains. They're down in this area. They're known to wander all throughout here. That's also in a handout. They come really regularly into Avikro at any kind of shut up, Chester.
Read the fucking manual, guys.
Oh, handouts, guys. I'm kidding. You don't have to. I'm teasing. They make a lot of trips into town, but they don't like to be too close because they don't agree with a lot of the practices, shall you say. So they're in the woods, but they make trips often enough that there's probably some in town if you were to look.
Out of clarification, because
Ye-
because of the weird multi-personality, how is the old woman with the druids, and how is the young dream gaze with the druids?
Auntie gets on super fine with the druids.
Basam
Auntie
does
also-
not.
Basam probably not. I'm assuming Basam would kind of have, being punk, she would inherently have some more progressive ideas about maybe integration between the two followings of society. And the druids aren't so down with that because they don't like all that smoke and business that they're doing over there with cutting down trees.
Right.
They don't like that. So they would probably be very against that, as well as one of the things that's been happening recently, the last few decades, let's say, has been an increase of weird creatures, which is part of Urdu's obsession and Alaris's as well. So there have been lots of just unusual things showing up. It's no longer just a wolf, but it's a wolf with stone growing out of it, or it's what we would know as kind of typical D&D monsters, but to this island are strange.
Okay.
So the druids want to worship these creatures or learn more about them, and Evikro sees it as a sign that the city has been blessed by the island, and thus they are allowed to tame them, kill and eat them, skin them, kind of use them the way they use the rest of the land.
Right.
Blatantly disrespectful, but the druids are like, how dare you kill these things? We don't even know what they are. So
Okay. I was just trying to get a feel of how
Auntie,
this
yes, Basam, no.
Okay.
And just so you know, kind of the opposite with the witches in Makator Island. Basam and them are super cool. Auntie tends to not like them, probably.
Right. Okay.
They don't like her.
Okay.
So, what else do you want to know?
All the things, but
Yeah.
What about, so you know where the attacks took place? What's next?
Well, Wiskava would suggest that we should talk to the druids because her letter suggested that they might know a little bit about what's going on. But she's also pretty good at killing undead, so she's not too worried about just going there and smacking things down.
If Wiskava says something along those lines of maybe we should talk to the druids, Guy will say, if you would be willing to scout the path for me first, I will set up a meeting for you with the druids for when you return.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right
I'm
now,
still in
I'm
Auntie
meeting
form.
with
So like,
Jonathan
oh,
Cameron.
I know. They're fine folk. Don't worry. Auntie will take care of it. I'll make him some sweet tea, and I'll make him some. We'll get some plantains going, and like it'll be great. We'll have an entire
plantains.
like.
Really, plantains of all the things, plantains. No.
We'll have a crawfish broil. Like it'll be a thing. Like it'll be the greatest thing ever.
I love that she's like, so in my head, she's a mix of clearly Southern, but I don't know a lot about Southern. So I'm taking that and mixing it with local Kama'aina auntie and also like my Jewish auntie. Who's just
Honestly,
like,
she's
no,
the most
wait.
auntie of all aunties. Everybody has this aunt.
I can get myself.
Me and Tucker have
upstairs.
this aunt. I'm sure Becca has this aunt.
Everybody has.
Like if she had
like,
access to an oven right now, she'd be making like sweet potatoes with mushrooms on not mushrooms, marshmallows on top right now.
No, please
Yeah.
not that. Please
Isn't
not that.
that
That's
isn't
so
that just
fucking
a Thanksgiving
disgusting.
thing? Isn't that just a Thanksgiving thing?
No, there's actually aunties that do
Candied
that.
sweet potatoes are a thing.
That happens for like normal people on Thanksgiving, but this happens
Yeah.
like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good at Thanksgiving.
Everybody has this aunt. Everybody has this aunt. I swear everybody has this.
I have had it once when irrelevant. Back on track.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
So while Auntie is saying this,
Yes.
Wiskava looks at Jen and says, we are not sicking her on them because I don't want to fight 1,000 druids.
You really don't.
Well,
This guy.
and Jen will be like, well, perhaps not the other one.
I'll set up the meeting if you will take care of scouting.
They
where
really don't seem that different to me.
the druids.
No.
In
That's-
intensity, they certainly aren't.
He's talking about bounties. They're the same.
Okay. Is there anything else that you guys would want to know? We'll say that the sun is starting to get towards setting. Not quite yet, but getting there. Are there any other clarifying questions for this part of the conversation?
No, I
So
don't.
not so much clarifying, but just asking for provisions, of course, because it's going to be at least a couple days, so we need some food for the trip.
Yes, I planned to invite you all to my estate. If you'd like to stay the night, I will feed you. You're welcome to stay till the morning when you leave, and I will provide you with what you would need. Food-wise.
Yeah, and when he says that, I'll be like, Jin will be like, yeah, I better go see Urdu.
Yeah,
She'll be
I
mad.
will look at you and say, Urdu will be pleased to see you, and your room is, of course, as it was.
Wait, Urdu's gonna be there?
Yes, Urdu will
You
be
know
there.
her. You know Urdu. And Alaris gets actually super excited and somewhat uncomfortable, probably for Jin.
I was just going to say, to Jin,
Yeah,
that
it's like-
level of excitement is very similar to what you're used to with Urdu. There's a
Yeah, and
similar
he
there.
does that with Urdu as well. It's because she just, I see her as that person that gets right up into his face, talking about whatever she finds interesting at that exact moment,
So
and he has to listen to all this like all
yeah.
the time.
yeah, so Alaris does stay like at least a full
Like,
length. Thank you, arm's length away from you.
an arm's
Okay.
width. It's
That's
like-
better than Urdu.
Yeah, so she does stay a full arm's length away,
Okay.
but she is super excited of possibility.
That one.
Yeah, possibility of you knowing Urdu and either collaborating on whatever project both of us are working on or meeting her.
Yeah, I'm like just like, oh man, you guys are going to get along so well, and that is so bad.
We're gonna be besties.
It's like,
So Guy will offer, or he'll tuck away his pipe and stand up, and anyone who wants to come with for free room and board is welcome to come with.
yeah, might as well go. I mean, I have my own room, so
Yeah, you have your own room, and Arazu and Dahl would at least be familiar with where the guest rooms are, but he will show you there. You don't get to teleport. Because I wrote a thing.
I do what I want.
No!
I won't.
I'm gonna say my description, damn it. How dare you? Are we over time? I just noticed.
We are. It's fine. As long as everybody is willing to continue, we can continue. But
Well, that's what we should check with everyone else. Is everyone good to continue for a bit, or?
I could continue for about 15, 20 more minutes.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Then we
So-
can describe getting there, maybe, and then once you enter, that's where we'll stop.
that sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
So, let's see. Guy will actually, initially had it where he leaves before you, but instead he'll walk with you guys there. Oh, I'll get back to the map. Hold on. So if I do this, do you guys just port there? Oh, no.
Yeah.
it doesn't. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, not just port, but, so wait, that showed up for you.
We can
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
Pro
you
map.
just have to
Okay.
click it on your side.
Okay, that's what I meant earlier.
It is really confusing. This is what happens when I'm like this, and I ping maps, and you guys are like, we don't
Oh,
see
what
that. I'm like,
map?
oh crap, you're on a different map.
Okay. That
Yeah,
makes
you
more
haven't
sense.
dragged us over yet.
Okay, so
And you can
you're here, and Guy will take you up along the river next to, this is the magic quarter up here, and into this octagon is his estate. That's, if it's not somewhat clear, those are walls, and then the central square building is the actual building.
So it's like walls and then a keep.
Yeah, essentially.
Are
Not,
these turrets then?
Yes. Yay, it reads as turrets.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, no, those are turrets.
Like
Um,
offhandedly, like we are in public, so it will be Auntie, not Bassam. She'll
Okay.
be like, Wow. Oh, you're you're very into security, aren't you, honey?
He grins at you, and perfect segue. There's a steady pulse of magic throughout the entirety of the estate, including the walls. It isn't hostile, it doesn't feel like anything that specific as being targeted, but to those of you more inclined to the arcane, it feels extremely defensive, like a rat trap waiting to be sprung on full thieves. Those of you who, well, you all got along well enough with him, it actually to you feels almost welcoming, as if it's allowing you in.
Okay.
So-
Because again, I'm in no form. I will actually pat the wall as the walls that are radiating this energy.
Everything built, so everything stone. Yes, the walls, the building itself, the
She
pathway.
will do the same type of head pat or like calming touch. She's done to other people. And be like, it's all right, honey. We're just here to talk to you, master. We'll like almost like petting a dog, and
Yeah, yeah.
We'll be
Guy
gone
smiles.
in just as we'll be gone before you can say sweet potato pie.
Guy smiles to himself, and you do feel a ripple almost through the presence of the magic throughout the estate, and nothing else changes. But before you stands a piece of architecture that feels distinctly off for Maka. It's very angular and rigid. The thick walls are uncompromising, is the best word for them. It seems heavy in a way that a lot of the architecture here seems like it fits more with the landscape, both the build and the way that they're designed. Go ahead.
Okay, both. This is a weird spot because this is a weird time where both Auntie and Bassam would be in alliance, so just both of their voices would come out in a. Wow, somebody's compensating for something, aren't they?
Guy doesn't even deign to respond. He just keeps walking.
At which point, Auntie would just have a shit-eating grin on her face.
As you pass through the walls and head towards the main entrance to the estate, you notice if anyone's actually caring to look at the craftsmanship, it's very immaculate. There's that hint of dwarven where things are carved and fitted together in a way that speaks to master stonework. It almost looks as though it was crafted out of one enormous piece of stone rather than built together by separate pieces and bricks. But that one massive piece was then carved to give the illusion of brick. That's how seamless it all looks. The enormous stone doors of the entrance are flanked on either side by two also enormous stone golems. They do not speak to you or move as you approach. Their features are broad and deeply carved. Impassive.
Okay. And I just kind of mentioned, beware the stone men.
Guy glances over at you and goes, there's nothing to beware if your intentions are pure, and I know yours are. So as he walks by, he pats the golem, and it looks like it turns and looks at him, and its features can't move because it doesn't move, but you get the feeling it smiles, and it just kind of looks at him, looks back, and the doors swing open.
I'm gonna insight check him.
Him or the golem?
Him, because like honestly.
I was like, insight check the golem, please. It's a stone golem. It goes,
16.
Eric totally believes that you can get past these things as long as your heart is pure.
Yeah, like the heart is pure thing. Like
he didn't say heart. He said intent.
He said intent. But at which point, like, I feel like Auntie and Bassam would both have like the arched eyebrow of like
skepticism. Yeah.
With that roll, though, nothing untoward. That's genuinely what they are. You get the sense from him that these are his security. Okay. These are basically just not known to the area, which with Skava, you could probably connect the dots here that these are the things that weird out the locals. The fact that he has, quote unquote, brought stone to life. There's an artificial life to these. They don't have a sentience, and that creeps people out.
Where do I think he's from?
Creepy.
Whoa.
In fact, Alaris, because she is a local, probably is leaning a little close to Arazu.
Yeah. Probably also
During-
thinks it's weird.
Because I know there's a lot of questions here. Because Auntie is a pretty old soul in determining what's going on here.
Yes.
Like, I know we have deities, but is it also animistic? Like, am I kind of revolted by the idea of a object without a soul, like a living
That would depend on your personal perspective, because some people who aren't weirded out by them view them as a step forward in machination. It's a machine. It moves the way you want it to move, and it does the thing that you've tasked it to do, but it doesn't have a sentience. Just because it is shaped in a humanoid manner does not make it different than, say, the mechanics that you would use to move a boat.
Okay.
They don't see.
So
some
that's
people
gonna
don't see
cause
it.
me a personality conflict.
Yeah.
So
I
I
assume
am
more
actually
people know
going
you.
to, like, because this wasn't originally intended to be a cursed item, but it's way more fun if it is. I am going to go ahead and my character just starts, like, because Auntie would be revolted by this thing, but Bassam would be intrigued by this thing. So there's going to be like a minute where she's just like is clutching her head and is completely distracted by what's going on.
Okay.
Like, she's rubbing her temples and, like, she's muttering to herself crazily.
Guy will stop for a moment and watch as that happens, like he's assessing you, and says,
Perhaps my god is more powerful, and I will lay on hands.
Guy is watching all of this happen and just says to the golem that he touched that looked at him, if anything happens and she worsens, bring her to me. And he just walks inside. So now you guys do whatever, lay on hands, whatever you.
Well, I don't have any
Actually, don't
HP
lay on
loss,
hands. I
so
actually
lay on hands
air.
doesn't
I grab
do
my
anything.
little ponytail, and I just kind of brush her with it.
Okay, so I was gonna say this earlier, but now I can't anymore. The braid and the way you described it sounds like my first vocal coach, who had this long gray braid, and if we weren't singing on note, he would whip us with it because it was that long that he could take it, just smack us like, "Hey, that's not what I said to do."
Yeah, no,
So,
like,
Well, this is
like,
this is thicker. I mean, her hair is really long, and it's almost like in a French braid that hangs down.
Yeah.
it's not disabling, but she is like rubbing her temples, and when the braid comes in, she again in that weird dual tone voice that she used before when they were actually in alignment, like, what the fuck was that? And at which point her migraine stops.
Yeah, I just do the 5 points or whatever it is that removes dumb conditions.
Mm-hmm. The 5 points to remove poison and disease.
Oh, I guess that's all that does. Yeah, so don't. I guess, yeah, I can't actually remove stun, so I just give you a couple of points to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Despite it being really weird that you just got smacked with hair, you feel a little bit better. The curse is still there, but you feel kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alaris actually.
Okay, it's just ugly.
Yeah. So Alaris does. I mean, she was kind of like uncomfortably close, probably, to Arazu, but when Auntie, or whatever form she's in right now, is having problems, she does step out and go to Auntie until she gets whipped and tries to lead Auntie. Or the
More
other
tickled
form.
than whipped. More like,
Yeah.
Like brushing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, whipping was Mike.
yeah.
That's a sentence.
Try to lead her away, but Alaris's shoulders are still super tight
Tense.
in that really uncomfortable.
Wait.
Yeah.
Jin, you don't care. You've seen these. This is nothing to you.
Yeah, I'm still standing there because, I'm still waiting for these people to go in because Guy, I know how he is. He just left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care. I know a lot about this stuff.
So this
just,
could be a moment if you wanted a great leader to say something like, "Oh, it's okay, guys."
Just like that, in a
Yeah,
retard.
just in that voice. The stupider you sound, the less intimidating. You know. Okay.
No, it's Comet is our leader, right? That's what we decided.
Oh, they haven't actually told us their perception yet, so we're still going with Skava, at least as far
I
as
thought they
Alaris.
said when they came.
Not Arizu. Arizu has always felt that Jin was in charge because Jin
Yeah.
is in charge.
This is a problematic situation where it's not clear.
What? Where do I think that guy is from?
I'm trying to decide what role you should make. Give me whatever your highest, I guess, wisdom or intelligence would be. Literally, whatever your highest possible one is.
Okay, so just a straight stat roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have all of your guys' stats memorized.
What?
Shut up. Hey,
Dun, dun,
don't you
dun.
mock me. You know I'm working on it.
I will give you a 14 for that, Tucker, if you want it.
Too late.
17.
Hey, you rolled higher, so.
You get the sense that he's from here. This is where he's from.
He's just kind of embraced the
But-
outer world.
What you get the sense that though he's always been here, there's something about him like he's been somewhere else. Not necessarily because you're not from Aka. He still doesn't seem like mainland Suabos though. It's another. As a paladin, you might get that it's another, not just different continent or different island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you get that vibe, but you also recognize he was probably born and raised here.
And he went on in? Or?
Yeah, he went in.
Okay.
He instructed the golem to bring Auntie to him if her condition worsened. And when you called it ugly, it looked really sad and slumped a little bit. And when it caught a hint of Jin, it nodded its head.
Okay, I would say Auntie is not, like, stunned, but she is, like, flitty. Like, before it required her hat to be taken on and off, but go between old and young. At this point, like, it's like a bad TV. Like,
It's flickering, yeah.
yeah, it's flickering. And finally it stabilizes. I'll say I'm going to roll a d4. Odd is...
Odd is Auntie and evens Basam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
You could almost roll
honestly,
any
it's...
sided dice and it'd be the same. That's great.
Okay, so yeah, it's still Auntie.
Okay.
She's like, young girl doesn't understand tradition. That's the problem with you youth.
I think we need a little more time. Maybe contemplate it a little more. You're not talking right. Please come with me.
Yeah, Jin's at the door holding it open, like for everybody.
I walk up to the stone man because its expression changed and did things.
It got sad
I got sad.
when you called it ugly. At
And I
once.
called it ugly. I'm sorry that was uncalled for. People have called me ugly too. You're not.
It puffs up a little bit, as much as stone can
It was
up.
a bad word choice. And there's obviously more here than I thought. And I was wrong.
Arizu comes up to the two of you and kind of looks back and forth as, if I might offer a suggestion in the future, when people call you ugly, I found that headbutts tends to dissuade future insults. And then he just proceeds into the building.
The golems.
I step back and I go, he actually does have a point. It has worked for me as well.
So I will take a moment to differentiate these two golems. The one that you both have been speaking to, screw it, has a blue rune in its forehead, and the other one has a red one. Just so, because now this is going to be important later.
You my boy, Blue?
This one watches
You're my
you,
boy, Blue.
looks at you when you speak,
Mhm.
tilts its head a little bit, and bows forward. And then straightens back up and resumes its position.
That was blue?
It had a blue rune on its forehead.
Because he's our boy.
Yep.
Mhm.
That isn't what I was
Won
thinking.
him over.
but There you go.
It's totally
Yeah, blue
smart.
was the bestest boy.
Blue rune golem.
And poor Red is snubbed.
The red is just a little more professional.
No one wants to talk to
Blue
Red.
is emotional. Okay, so you guys all enter?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, are we now out of time?
I think we're now out of time because
Okay.
Chris said 15 minutes.
That's actually perfect. Yay. Okay.
I would like to, before I kill the stream, mention that I want to be clear. The character does not have dissociative disorder. It's
Yeah. No, that's
I
obvious.
have a disguise hat of disguise that literally changes my personality.
Yeah. No, there's
It's a
several of you that
curse.
have personality shifts, none of which are anywhere near dissociative disorder. I would have addressed all of that.
Yeah, and no, both of them are neutral good. They are both good, like good aligned characters.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is it just a cursed hat that causes the personality shift? Like,
I have a feeling like that's symptom more than cause. Like she has these personalities, but the hat is associated
No,
with them.
the hat is what is. There
So
is
which the actual
there is a
personality?
neutral good hag. Like this was not my original intent, but this actually works for the character and is great. There's a neutral good hag inside of her hat.
Bye.
does
There's a
anyone?
hat in the hat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that,
does
like-
anyone?
Write all of this up for me because it's changed now.
No,
Yeah.
it's the same personality. All it is just it fixes a problem that I realized was playing the character was in the character. That now I realize was an issue, so I want to fix it, and the best way to do it is to say that it's a cursed item, but it's not really a cursed item. It's a sentient item. We'll just call it a sentient item.
Okay, so which of the personalities is Bassam? And
Bassam is the true personality. She is a 32-year-old human when she wears the hat.
she's Auntie.
Yeah, she's Auntie.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
Auntie
That was what I needed.
freely relinquishes control. It's really not a cursed item because a
She
cursed
just
item.
gets bored. It's like,
So,
People sound
out
like
of character, do we want to talk about any of our relationships?
I was just going to throw out before I go real quick.